So, to start off, what is your name? And tell me where that came from, like the idea behind it and things like that.
So stage name, right? All
Yes.
right. Hello, my name is Crystelle002. And basically the origin of this name is basically I'm very much into electronic music. Like basically with the music that I make, how it has that futuristic kind of vibe. So I was like, like that's kind of cool. Like maybe I should make my name like more robotic. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I decided to add the 002 to make it like seem like I'm like a prototype or something, you know what
That's
I'm saying?
fire. I
Yeah.
like that.
And I
I
didn't
like
want to be basic. I didn't want to be basic and be like, oh, 007. So I was
mhm.
like, nah, let me switch it up.
Yeah, it's funny because when I read 002, that's what I thought of. Like, oh shit, it's like 007. But that's dope that you put like the spin on it. That's cool.
Mhm.
I like that for sure. Okay, so we know your name now. Tell us like what your gender identity is and your pronouns so that we know how to refer to you.
So I am a woman. My pronouns are she, her, and I am a bisexual woman on top of that.
Ooh, we love to see it. I
Really?
love that. I love that. By represent. Okay. All right. So what's your zodiac sign?
I'm an Aries. I was born on April 15th, 2002.
Okay, I love that. I'm a Cancer. I'm a water sign, but
Okay.
I love my fire sign. So yes, I have a cousin who's an Aries and she is like she's dope. She's one of my favorite
Mhm.
people because she just has like a personality where like once she feels a way, she makes everybody like know it. And so like I just admire her for that because she don't hold back basically. Whereas like water signs could kind of sometimes be more reserved, but I find that like with fire signs, y'all are much more like out in the open. Like I
Mhm.
don't know, I love you guys. So I love that. Aries, I fuck with that. And my second, I would have to say Sag. Leos,
Mm.
Leos, uh, I haven't. Okay, so I just have like I had a bad experience with a Leo, and that like very much ruined my whole like outlook on Leos. But I'm very
Mhm.
much into astrology, so I try not to like judge because I know everybo's built differently. But
Right.
Leos, they're an honorable mention, but I
Yeah,
hope.
I'm friends with a couple of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I hope they're, better than this coworker that I had. But, like I said, not all Leos, not all zodiac signs are built the same. So I don't
Exactly.
doubt, yeah, I don't doubt that they're dope people. Okay,
Mhm.
next question. Your favorite color
My favorite color, I hate to be boring, but it's black.
is black.
It's
Okay.
black. A lot of the clothing that I own is black.
That's dope. That's
Mhm.
dope. Do you feel like there's a reason why you're drawn to black more so than any other color? Like, how does it make you feel? Like, what is it about black that makes it like your color, your power color?
So basically, I really like dark colors because it's just like I feel most comfortable in the dark. I feel like it pretty not to be like emo, but truthfully, it does embody like who I am because I'm more into the like mysterious, dreamy kind of things. Like I'm the most active in the nighttime, so maybe that
Okay.
correlates. So yeah, I just love dark colors. I feel like that's just what complements my skin better. You feel me?
Yeah, I love that. I
Mm.
also, funny that you say that it like makes you feel comfortable. There's an aura reader. I'll have to like check what her at name is, but she was like teaching everybody about like auras and like what the different aura colors mean. And she said that people who tend to like go more towards like wearing black or like be more attracted to like things that are black are often people who like really are into like protecting their energy and also like just
Mm.
being more into themselves. So I think about that too when you say that. But just in general, apart from like aura colors, black is just that color. Like it just goes with everything. It's very
Okay.
stylish. It just I love it. So yeah, I like that. For me, I would say like pink, black, brown. And it kind of like changes for me, but like
Mhm.
I said, black goes with everything. I have like when I get a electronic device, I like black. When I get like
Mhm.
a bag, like my first Telfar bag, black. Like it just,
But
it goes with everything. So I fuck with that for sure. Okay.
for
So this question might like tie into my next question, but my next question is what's your next hairstyle idea? I see you have
Yep.
like, the silk press going down, like you have all that, but what is your next hairstyle idea that you want to either try out, or if it's something that you've already been thinking of doing, like, all right, I'm about to do this. Like what's your next idea?
I'm glad you asked. So basically, I've been getting into ponytails. So
Okay.
before I was like, my hair is growing. So I can do some ponytails now. So last time I did like a singular ponytail, but the next thing I want to do, because basically I'm very much into 2000s hairstyles.
Love
So I
that.
always try to I always try to showcase that in how I dress and how I style my hair. And basically I want to do like two pigtails, right? Like, oh, not two pigtails,
That'd be
just
cute.
pigtails, right? But like braided, and I want them to have like, like the classic, when we were little girls and we had like the little bobos in our hair.
Yes.
So I want to do something like that, maybe like a clear pink, like a translucent pink going on. We'll see when I get in the beauty supply, but that is definitely what is on the next hairstyle. Either
Oh,
that or a platinum blonde wig
ooh.
or a mullet. Or a mullet, because I haven't gone full blonde yet with my wig, so I
Okay,
gotta
I
try to.
like that. Yes, you testing the waters. I personally
Mm-hmm.
like you would eat like with all of those three. Like, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
definitely looking forward. I'll be looking forward to your posts and to see like, what you come up with those hairstyles. But nah, I like that for sure. And it's inspiring to me too, because I feel like I feel like I don't do enough with my hair. Like I still struggle with like how to style it and stuff. So I'm gonna have to take some notes from your book for sure. Maybe we could talk about that a little later.
Yo, for real, let's do that.
Yes. Yeah, I would definitely appreciate that. I need some inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we went from the hair. Now I want to talk about your nails. What's your favorite way, like your go-to way to do your nails?
I'm a French down, like French tip down. Like it could be short, it could be long, either way. French tips, classic, white tips. But for my birthday, I plan to, pull a different route and do them black.
Ooh.
Thing. I saw that on Pinterest and I was like, hold on. They
Mm-hmm.
did some. I just
Yes.
had some nails on too, but I finally took them off. It was getting in the way of my work. I was
Yeah.
like, nah, nah.
Yeah, that's how I get to. Like right now I'm bare, I'm all natural. Because I'm a
I'm
writer, so
bored.
I'm always typing. Exactly. Like it does get in the
Mhm.
way, but I don't know, something about having nails, it just turns everything up like a notch. Like, oh my
Exactly.
gosh. Like you ever feel like that bad bitchery? Like you could be doing
Like when you
anything.
point, you feel serious. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes,
over there.
exactly. Right. Oh, what did you say? Like exactly. You be using that for everything.
Exactly,
For
exactly.
sure, for sure. For me, I was like, because I write so much and so much of my work has to do with like being on the computer, I like to like dabble in like the short nails, and I do like French, and I have been doing like the pink French, like baby pink French, but I
Ooh.
saw recently online this thing that's getting popular. It's like whatever color you choose, you could do like the matte base, and then the French is like the glossy part. And I've
Mhm.
seen people do like that in black and white, so I was like, maybe that's something that I could try. So definitely I'm with you on the French, because there's just something so like classic and like
It's
bad
classic.
bitchy about it, right? And it's like I
Mhm.
feel like your vibe is like very much like 2K, so I feel like in the 2000s too, like French was it. And I
That
feel
was
like
the
it's
move.
always gonna be it because people still get it to this day. So
Mhm.
for sure, we definitely on the same wavelength with that one. All right,
Yep.
so moving away from beauty and what makes you you on the outside, let's get into just random shit, right? So
Mm.
my question for you is, think of something, and this could be like anything. So don't think too like, narrow-mindedly. I want you to think broadly. What's something you've done recently just for the plot?
No. So basically, what I did recently for the plot, I messed with somebody who I've had my eye on for a
Okay.
while. And
Okay.
should I have done it? No. But did
Oh,
I do it
why?
anyway?
Why you say no?
See, I say no because it's like I kind of already saw the signs
Okay,
that
got
he wasn't fully, you know, ready to do anything serious, and neither was I. But I was still open to, what I'm saying. But I went through the motions of it. Basically, here's why I shouldn't have done it. Here's why. Because basically, he already told me, like, okay, Crystelle, like, I'm young and I'm not ready, but I was like, I'm not really looking for anything serious either. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Because I still wanted to experience them, and me being me, I'm always like, I could change them.
Mm,
I could be the one
that's
to make
where
it
we go
different.
wrong, Krista. Oh my
Every single time I think it's going to be different. It's never different. We had our fun. It was cool while it lasted. And, that's it.
There we
It is
go.
what it is. You feel me?
Yes, exactly. So
Mm-hmm.
at least you have fun. And
Mm-hmm.
at least, even though, it kind of hurt a little bit because I'm sure
Yeah.
that, you wanted more.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everything that we go through is truly like a lesson, even if it's small, even if it's just something like that. I feel like it'll help you learn yourself more. And that's not the only person out there, you know what I'm saying? Like there's
Exactly.
more where that came from. So
Exactly. We're
you'll be
so young.
fine.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
literally, I'm going to be okay. We're all going to be okay.
We're all gonna be okay. I needed to hear that for sure, because woo, I recently came out of a long-term relationship earlier this year, and
Mm-hmm.
it like flipped my world upside down. And but in a good way though, like it's a lot of like unlearning and a lot of like ugly ass emotions that I'm still going through.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like in a way, it really did like help me learn myself, and it's like preparing me for bigger and better shit. So I feel like it's a loss, but it's really like never a loss at the same time. Like the losses be wins. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Oh.
Because it's like you said before, like, does it hurt? Yes, but it's like you're gonna, nothing valuable comes easy. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like, if something of value is not gonna be like too easy. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta go through the hard shit to realize what you really need. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, I know what
Yeah.
you're saying. And that
Mm-hmm.
should be hard. It be hard. Like I don't want the lesson, but
Literally, like, just
it's
let me
always worth it
vibe. Just
for
let me
real.
chill.
Like, damn, I could have just had this little one. Like, all right.
Literally, life is humbling as hell. It's always
For
gonna bring you
real.
back
For
to earth,
real.
and we are each other. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm,
can't be mad at somebody who's figuring out themselves too. So
that's
I'm like, you know
so
what?
true.
Fine. If they need to go elsewhere, then let them go elsewhere so they can also learn that shit ain't sweet on the other. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's ongoing lessons for everybody involved. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
never.
For sure. I was just talking to somebody too, and we were just talking about how we have to stop judging people because really we're all connected, and like romantic shit aside, like it just in general, like everybody's on their own journey, and just because their journey looks different than ours, meaning like they would make certain decisions that we don't agree with, or they're just on a whole different like vibe and timeline. Like we just got to respect that and use the energy that we would to like think about their shit and
Yeah,
put it into ourselves so that we can, just like level up, step into like the baddest bitch era we ever could, every single era. Cause I feel like it's always like a continuum. There is no their limit to how bad we can become in every aspect of life, not even just like on the outside, but whatever we want to fucking do. Like, I just feel like basically when shit don't work out, it's for a reason for us to tap back into ourselves. So
yeah,
with that being said, I just feel like we can remind ourselves of that when shit don't go our way and be like, feel the feelings, right? Because we're still human, but then keep it moving, and
man.
better things are on the way. So he missed out, but you're on your way to better shit. So that that
Exactly.
that's all that it is. All right. So I think we're on like the same type of combo for this next question. I feel like it kind of like goes hand in hand, but I want
Mm-hmm.
you to think not just romantically, but just in general. So, what are your biggest turnoffs? This could be friends, it could be romantic, it could be coworkers, family. Like what are your icks? What are your turnoffs?
Turnoffs in relationships that are not just romantic. Hmm. 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 Something that turns me off. Everything bothers me, which is also another.
Yo,
Everything.
I felt that.
So one thing I do hate is people who are just so easy to anger,
Okay.
especially when you're just being yourself. Like, let's say I'm hanging out with somebody and I'm being myself, I'm being quirky, I'm being goofy. And they're like, ew, what the fuck are you doing? Like, shut up. Like, you're about, like, you know what I'm saying? If you're
Yeah.
quick, if you're quick to snap at me, I can't be around you
Yeah.
because you snap a lot. You
Yeah.
feel me? And
Yeah.
that's not really fair to me because one thing I don't like is limiting myself and downplaying myself for the comfort of others. Like I've
Ooh,
done that too long and I don't want to do that anymore. So once I see that I'm bothering you in any way, even though it's not intentionally, I'm just gonna leave you alone because
yeah.
no, I
Yeah.
can't do it. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's definitely one. And what's another one? I hate see, it's kind of no, let me not say that. But it's true though. I hate when somebody is constantly leeching off another person.
Ooh, yep.
Why don't you have the energy to want to do it yourself? Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, like I have a friend who knows how to do my makeup. Oh, I have a friend that knows how to
Oh
drive.
my gosh.
I have
Okay,
a friend that
yes.
can drive. I have a friend
Mm-hmm.
that can drive, so I know that she's gonna bring me. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, girl, like, come on, you can do it. You know, you can do this little thing. So why aren't you doing it? You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? But I feel like people who are just too comfortable being in one way, you got to be able to like, move past stuff
Yeah.
and experiment. You feel
Mm-hmm.
me? I'm also learning this too. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not for it's like cuz I see the potential. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, come on. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's one thing. And something that kind of goes hand in hand with this is people who don't want to like I don't want to say laziness, but people who are not trying to make shit shake for them. So like,
Gotcha.
like let's say you show your friend an opportunity to do something. They're like, no, I don't want to do that. But it's
Girl.
why? But it's like why? And it's like, oh, because I'm not comfortable. And then they're gonna be mad when they see that they weren't involved in something. Like, oh, why didn't you
Mm-hmm.
tell me? But it's like, I did tell you though, but you were, you know what I'm saying? But because they
Exactly.
didn't see the vision at first, they didn't want to do it. So I hate people who are just not, willing to see the vision. Not that it's a bad thing to have some discernment, but you can't you can't like hold back and then be mad that you're not involved in that thing. You had
Mm-hmm.
a chance.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. And also
like we're
people who
too
like, sorry
mm-hmm.
to interrupt you, but
No,
just
no.
to add before you keep going, people
Mhm.
who also, I feel like people like that could be also like easy to resent and be jealous because they didn't want to like experiment for themselves and like
Mhm.
try on themselves. So the fact that they see another person doing it, it could trigger them, but it's like you're triggered
Mhm.
because you're mad at yourself. So I've definitely been experiencing that too, around me. So I definitely agree. But I don't want to, make you lose your train of thought. So keep going because this is all like gems that you're dropping right now.
See, one thing about me, once I have a thought and I stop, it's gone. Dang, I don't even know. Just know, like, we only have one life to live. Like, you gotta go ahead and do it because at the end of the day, nobody really cares that much.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, give yourself a chance to live. Give yourself a chance to breathe. You know? So
Yeah,
yeah.
I love that. I love
Mhm.
that. Ooh, that's deep. And it makes me like self-reflect too, because I feel like it's easy. I feel like that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, like how everybody's on their own journey. Like it's so, when you're a powerful woman, you it's like so easy for you to see power in others because you see others as a reflection of yourself, right? That's how we view the world, through how we would do things and how we would like approach things. And I just
Yeah.
feel like when you're powerful, like you want other people to see their own power. Like you're like, yo, like you are so good at this thing. You have so much potential. So when they don't like act on it, it's like, damn, like really? But once again, it's like you could support people and bring them to the water. What's that phrase? You can bring a horse to the water,
Yeah,
but
you can
you can't
bring
make
a
it drink
horse
it.
water, but you force it to drink.
Exactly. So it's just like, are we gonna continue to spend our energy bringing that horse to the water, or are we gonna drink it for ourselves? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, of course, you wanna, when you love somebody, you always gonna want to fan their flame and empower them. But also, I feel like us powerful women, we have to like know what our boundary is when it comes to that, because at a certain point we can't save everybody, you know? So that's
Yeah.
something that this year has taught me for sure. Okay, moving on from this lovely bit about like, just random shit, but also deep shit. I feel like
Yeah.
this conversation is like getting into the deep shit without really, getting to this section, but I love that for us. So, I saw you post books that you said were important to your journey as a Black girl. And I definitely saved that into books to recommend, like for
Yeah.
my students as well, because I feel like that's so powerful. I wanted to ask you though, what type of book would you write and who would be your target audience?
I really love that you asked me that because basically I used to want to be a writer. I used
Really?
to write I used to write books on Wattpad all the
Oh
time.
shit.
So basic so basically the audience, I do want to get back into writing one day. It's just so hard right now because it's like you got to really sit down and really plan that, storyline out. And I
Mm-hmm.
haven't had time to really do that for real, but like my audience is young urban Black girls.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been urban Black girls, specifically plus size ones, girls, just girls who look like me and who have lived the same life as me, who have
Mm-hmm.
come from the same side as me. So yeah, that's my
Mm-hmm.
audience.
I love that. And
Mhm.
so just to go back to like what would it could be like a short idea, but like what would you say like the plot would be for that book? Would it be about like the lifestyle of someone who identifies as you?
Yeah, so
Book.
basically I would write, a nice little novel, a little coming of age novel
That's
of, starting off with a young girl who doesn't really know what she wants from the world yet. And then, as she grows up where she's from, she learns from the people around her. So, I would definitely write something like that. That's why specifically taking place in New York, because that's
mm.
where I'm from. I come
Mm-hmm.
I come from a small urbanish, like neighborhood. Girl, that's a whole nother convo though, to talk about where I'm from though. That's a whole nother convo. But I just want to create my own little world and explore it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also I am Brooklyn born. So yes, we will talk about New
Period.
York right now.
Period.
Where are you from? Tell us
See.
about, you know what I'm saying? Like let's get into that conversation. Tell us about like, where you're from in New York and how that shaped you to who
Mhm.
you are today.
So basically, I am from Rockland County, New York, and specifically Spring Valley, New
Okay,
York.
okay. That's what's
Home. And basically, Spring Valley has 100% shaped me into who I was because growing up in the East Ramapo Central School District, literally, if you Google that district, we are one of the most fiscally stressed districts in the
wow.
whole New York.
Wow.
Growing up, we didn't really have the artistic. It was either you played sports or you were just really smart. That was like your only like two tickets out. Like everybody was playing basketball, like everybody was playing football, or everybody was playing soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Or getting high test grades. But if you weren't either of those, you're pretty much like kind of set up to fail. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Because there was a lot of times where music and like the arts was cut. Like for years we grew up without that. And me being who I was heartbroken and I was
Mm-hmm.
devastated. So it's like whenever I try to do stuff, whenever I try to make stuff like start up at my schools when I was younger, it just like it just never like worked out because nobody understood the arts because we barely grew up with it. We barely experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
We only knew what we saw on the internet, and it's basically if it wasn't that, then what is it? It's dumb. It's boring. It's gay. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
no, like nobody really saw the vision of like how arts could like help out these kids. Because if you look at white schools in Rockland County, like Suffern, Pearl River, North Rockland, they had the funds. These kids are out here making music for themselves, out here being painters and all that stuff. Whereas in Spring Valley, a lot of the kids that I grew up with are either dead and in jail.
Damn.
There's not really like I wouldn't say Spring Valley is like New York City, but it's like similar to that, but like
Mm-hmm.
more concentrated. It's
Yeah.
just like one because it's not like Spring Valley is not big at all. It's very tiny. Everybody knows each other. We
Mhm.
all know each other. There was only two high schools that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
there was not like a lot of like outlook on the world because our world was like so limited.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the journey you're taking now is like you're healing your inner child that didn't get the experience that you wanted. So I feel like that's just a
Basically.
testament to how strong you are and just how like chosen you are to be on this path, in my opinion, because for you to have that experience and not be exposed to like what your heart had desired at that time and what your heart desires now, and for you to be pursuing this now, I feel like that's dope. And I feel like you're putting on for yourself, but also the people that are coming after you too. So I love that. And I'm just very like, I admire like your whole journey and how like, now you just basically taking that chance on yourself that the school and the resources that they gave you did not. So props to
Mm-hmm.
you for that, for sure. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna get more into now, like, you know, as we talk about like who you are, what you stand for, your identity, and how all the experiences has shaped you to who you are today. You had recently made a decision in one of your recent TikToks to cut off your waist beads in
Mm-hmm.
anticipation for the new year. So I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to ask you, like, what exactly, and this might tie into what we just talked about, what exactly made you come to that decision? And how, in general, can you speak to body image and how it plays a role in Black girlhood and womanhood?
So basically, I cut off my waist beads because, like I said in the post, like I feel like there's a lot of energy tied into them. Like I feel like our bodies hold a lot of trauma,
Mhm.
especially 2023 being a very difficult year for me in a lot of aspects. I was like, I'm willing to do whatever I need to do to, feel the release. I don't care if it's like material. Because, a lot of people in the comments were like, oh my God, the butterfly one. Oh my God. But I was like, bro, I don't care. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I need this release for myself because I feel like a lot of people who didn't deserve to touch them. So
Mm-hmm.
that's another reason why I wanted them off of me because it's just like I want nothing to deal with these people. You know what I'm saying? I want nothing to do with those experiences. Let me not say nothing to do, but I just don't want to be constantly reminded of those experiences. So I'm going to do whatever I can to, limit that. So basically, I started doing that last year after I realized, like, I feel like I'm really just like holding on to these for no reason because I don't really like them.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, by cutting them off, I'm just, giving myself a chance to, like, figure out what it is that I want to do with my body more, figure out if I even want to continue wearing waist beads into the next year anyway, just, give myself a chance to do something else because,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be stagnant and I don't want to be repetitive. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I love that. I love that. And there's definitely, it makes me think of like how the personal is political because for you to make that decision, not only is it like spiritual, but it speaks to like who you are as like a Black, you know, artistic, bisexual woman in this world that we live in, right? Like it's literally resistance of these societal standards and resistance to like all the negative energy around you and that you've experienced to cut that off. And so I want to like just reiterate the power that that has and also the lovely example that it's showing for all the other Black women and girls who follow you and admire you for you to like share that. I think that was like that stuck out to me a lot because I struggle with body image too. And it like even led me to like when I got my master's, it was in women's and gender studies. And the thesis that I wrote was about how like social media and its algorithms perpetuate like racial bias that like ties into like body image issues in women of color. So it's just like I feel like it's not talked about enough. But yeah, all this to say, like, I just feel like you're just so powerful, and I want you to just, take that away from today, and I want you to continue to step in that power because you're impacting people more than you think, for
Mm,
sure.
wow.
So on this same type of wavelength, and as a testament to who you are today and the amazing decisions that you're making, how, if you could be in a room with the person that you were 5 years ago, what would you say to her?
5 years ago. Whoosh. If I would, for the first thing I would even do with the girl who I was 5 years ago, I would give her a hug because that's what she needed
Oh,
the most.
yeah.
I would give her a hug and I would be like, girl, wait till you find out who you become. Because in high school, I was a very reserved, awkward, like kind of girl. And I still am to this day. Don't get me wrong. That's not completely okay. But I was just so like shut off. Like I refused to do the things and dress the way I wanted to dress and do the things that I wanted to do because I was just so afraid of what my peers and what
Hmm.
my parents think. I was living a life that wasn't mine. I remember being extremely, extremely unhappy because I was like, bro, every day I'm pretending
Hmm.
to be this way because at the time I was still closeted. I still was unsure about my sexuality. I was still unsure what I wanted to do with my life. I knew I wanted to be a creative, but what was I going to do to like, sustain myself? I was starting to have those kind of like questions pop up into my mind. So like if I were to, see myself then, I would just be like, girl, just relax and experiment because you're young and the people that you're so scared of are not even going to be in your life after school ends. You're
Hmm.
never going to see these people again. So go be your most authentic self because you're never going to be this young again. You're never going to see these people again. And you're never going to, be in a situation like this again either. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
girl, like have fun, go to the dance, go to the parties, go to the art sessions, go to all those things because it's all about experience. I wish I just gave myself a chance. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's what I would say. I'll be like, girl, you're still not gonna have things figured out, but that's okay. That's what life is. Life is a quest. It's not just something black. It's not a book. It's not something that you just open and shut.
For real.
There's things to do.
Hmm.
So just go do it. That's what I would say.
I love that. I love that. Listen, I'm gonna take that advice for me because this year has been like hard, and I feel like you and I are kind of like on that same wavelength too of just like, wanting better for ourselves. So I just love that, you said the first thing that you would give to yourself who was like, 5 years behind us is a hug because honestly, like I feel like with every version of ourselves, we can say that because there's always a part of us that like doesn't know what the fuck we're doing, is going through so much, and it's a lot of fear of like what's to come. But then being on the other side is just like, girl, you're gonna be all right. Like we're gonna be all
Li-
right. So I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So speaking of 5 years to now, let's talk
Mm,
about your music that I
mm,
love and that I fell in love with immediately. So first I want to ask you, where do your visual inspirations for your songs come from? I saw a lot of cool shit on the cover art on SoundCloud, a lot of shit
mhm.
that you posted. So like tell me what the aesthetic, what the vibe is for that and like where it stems from and like what it represents for you.
So, growing up in the late 2000s, early 2010s, I spent a lot of my days on YouTube
Hmm.
listening to music and, studying the lyrics. My favorite kind of videos were those videos that, you remember Windows Movie Maker?
Yes.
Or Wendy's Movie Maker? So you know how you could like change the background colors, change the font colors and all that stuff and add pictures in there. I love that kind of like graphic art. And also, I loved when people would do lyric videos and then they would have like little anime characters dancing and
Yep.
stuff. Like, just like cute animated stuff like that. That's totally where I get my inspiration from because it's just like, bro, like I want to relive. Not let me not say relive, but I kind of just want to, give what I experienced as a kid to like the new generation. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Hmm.
Give people fun visuals, give people fun sounds. Because I was obsessed with Nightcore, anything Chipmunk,
I
anything
love
sped up,
that. Yep.
anything like that. That's just what I, want to show people like, yo, this is good stuff.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I fuck with it so heavy. Like it's so nostalgic, but it's also so like dope. Like it's just it's such a specific type of like vibe. I
Mhm,
just love it. I love it. So we're gonna get more into that. So okay, so you have like a few snippets on your SoundCloud. I mean, on your TikTok, actually. You have a few
mhm.
snippets. My favorite is part two, but I wanted to know what your favorite is out of like the few that you posted on there.
See, I don't know the order. I don't even know which is which.
Okay, hold on.
So
Let me see if I could pull
let
it
me
up.
know. Let me know.
All right, where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Found you. Okay, so let me see. I think, hold on. Oh yeah, your snippets. Okay, the playlist is right there. Okay, so you have this one, which is part one. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
This is the 46-second one. You have part two, which is my favorite. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Is it okay if I can like slide out of here so I can see my own stuff?
Oh yeah, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Do what you
Yeah,
gotta do.
because I want to,
Yes.
part one. Okay. All right. Yes, part two. Leave it all on the dance floor. There we go.
Yeah. Yep.
There we go. Yes. That is one of my favorite songs too, honestly.
Yeah. I think for me, I don't want to be biased, but I think the sped version is my favorite. Like it's just a certain vibe to it that I love.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of that one, I had a question for that one. So I noticed that for the sped version and the regular version, you have like two different names for it. One of the regular version is Leave It All on the Dance Floor, and then the sped version is Leave It on the Dance Floor. Is there
Mm-hmm.
any specific like artistic reason behind that? Like I wanted to just ask because I found that like interesting when I was like listening to it.
Because basically, the reason why I ended up changing the title was because I was like, I have too much words in this.
Yeah, got you,
I was like,
got
I
you.
gotta take something off. I gotta take one word off. And
Mhm.
basically, and I did that for the sped up version because I kind of had a feeling before even uploading it that people were gonna probably gravitate to that version more. So let me make the edited version of the title with this version. So
Got
yeah,
you, got
that's
you,
what.
got you. I love that. So they say like artists know which songs are probably gonna take off, and so you could it would be like okay to say that that was like that for you, like you knew it was gonna be a hit with people.
Mm-hmm,
That's
mm-hmm.
dope. That's dope. I love it. When you were making it, like what was your feeling? What was the vibe? Like what was in your head? Like what were you aiming for? Tell me about the creative process for you.
Okay, so basically, I make every song that you hear, I make it on my phone.
Oh my
Lit-
gosh, for real?
Every song on these little headphones right here.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that's what I do. I sit in this area and I go on GarageBand. And basically, the way I build my songs, I always think about chords. I think about switching chords. So that's why when you hear and leave it on dance floor, it's just like dun, dun.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I do. I just get my pad out. That's my favorite go-to keyboard sound. I love pads because it's just like they're so ambient and like like levitating. So it's just
Yes.
like
I do.
that's
I
what
feel that way. Yeah.
that's what like brings out that body. That's what brings out like the fun because it's like you can easily build on like just alternating chords. So
Mm.
I just was going back and forth on the chords, and I was just like, yeah, this I don't want this to be a sad song. So then I got my drum pad. I was going crazy. Literally, every time I make a song, I just, get my blunt out, let that marinate, and I'm like, all right, let's get to work. And
There you
yeah,
go. So you feel like smoking helps with that creative process. Do you feel like it's because like your inhibitions go away more and you're able to like tap more into like your creativity?
I feel like, yeah, that's definitely what it is because basically, when when I don't have like, weed in my system, not that I'm dependent on
Mhm.
it. It's just like I feel like I'm very like rigid
Got
because
you.
I feel like I'm just so stressed on being perfect on is this right? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm going by like fake rules, you know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
when I'm on that headspace, I'm just like, bro, like this isn't going anywhere anyways. This is just for fun. And then it ends up going somewhere because I'm like, wait, I end up really, really liking what I just
Yup.
made. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's what happens every time, man.
I love that. I love that. So more so on your music. So I noticed on SoundCloud, your first ever post was Lonely Nights, and that was 5 months ago at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
And your newest is No Love. So
Mhm.
I wanted to ask you how you feel within the past 5 months. You've probably been making music at different times. I don't want to just constrain you to that timeline, but simply because of what's available to us that you've graced and blessed us with, I wanted to ask, like, how would you describe your journey over the past several months this year of like your music and how you've developed it? Do you feel like there's been like a constant pattern? Do you feel like you're like slowly but surely changing? Like, tell me more about your journey and like your life and how it's like correlated with each song that you've dropped so far.
So, is it okay if I can start from like the very
Go
beginning?
ahead. Yes.
So,
Yes.
basically, me and music, I've always had like a strange relationship because it's always been on and off.
Got you.
Growing up, I grew up in a, Haitian household. My father is a musician. My mother is a musician. My singer, I said my singer. My sister was a singer in church. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like my cousins were pianists, guitarists, singers too. So I come from a very musical background. And especially with my mom being such like a vocal powerhouse in the church that I grew up with, I always had that pressure on me to also continue that cycle. So because of that stress, I just never gave myself a chance. I always had a voice, but I just never wanted to be in the forefront. I never wanted to be in the front. I just was always okay with being in the background because you know what I'm saying? Like that stress always drove me crazy. So
Hmm.
I was attracted to, choirs, groups, and then in school, like when before music got cut, I was in the band, I was playing the flute for a little bit. So like I always had that love for music because, it's just always been within me because it's always been around me. So yeah, like for years I just started to like once I got older, like maybe like my mid-teens, I was just completely shut off by music because it's just like I feel like it wasn't really something that I wanted to do, but rather something other people wanted me to do.
Got you.
I never, because when you're growing up in church, you don't want to sing church songs. You know what I'm saying?
For
You don't want
real
to.
though.
You
Yes.
don't. You want to listen to what makes you feel good. And
Hmm.
because I wasn't really exposed to a lot of music, I didn't really know what I liked. So I was just like, screw this music shit. I'm gonna do something else.
Hmm.
And then, throughout high school, I was just dabbling and painting and all these other cool things. And then towards the end, by my junior year, I was like, music actually is cool. And I started to learn the guitar a little bit. And I was doing pretty good. I was teaching myself. I was doing great. And then broke the guitar string, never got it
Oh, man.
fixed. To this day, it's still broken. So
You
yeah,
still have it?
I still got it. Maybe one day I'm gonna get her fixed and, pull that back out. You feel me? But
Yep. Hmm.
so music is always something that's been around, but literally Lonely Nights is what brought me back into music because I was like, oh wait, I'm also skipping stuff. I learned how to produce because of this music class that I was in high school.
Oh, that's
They're
dope.
hot. Dr. Hodge, God bless that woman. She's the woman who gave me, she was like, girl, like you got talent, you got skills, you could really do something with this. And so I just remember like, practicing the keyboard in her class and stuff. And I was like, like I really like this. So, I kind of just strayed away from that after school was done. So basically after 2020, that's when I graduated. I was kind of just, on a free for all and
Mhm.
doing whatever I could to, like occupy my time. And then I realized, I was like, something that I always found myself back into was music and making songs on my phone. So then, you know, one day I was bored. I was like, let me read down a little GarageBand, and I just had beats, and I was just making beats and beats and beats and beats and
That's
beats.
dope.
And literally, I heard about BandLab. I was on TikTok, and I'm like, what is this? Like, how are people recording songs that sound good? And then I saw this one girl. Maybe you follow her too. She's also a TikTok musician. Her name is Gap Tooth Vamp.
I heard of it, but I don't think I follow her. I think I seen like a video or two, but
She's great. She's great.
I gotta
And I
check
saw
her
that,
out.
and that's why I peeped at her, Little Hero. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Little Hero. She
Yes,
she's also like a mobile artist. And I was like, you know what? If these girls are eating it, then I could eat it too.
exactly.
So then
Yep.
that's it. Like I had a beat. I was bored. I had nothing but time on a weekend.
Hmm.
Started singing in my headphones, and I just uploaded it. I was like, I didn't want to like anticipate because I'm like, I'm not Beyonce. I'm not nobody. I'm not gonna like hype this up. This is just for fun. And I posted it. on my Instagram story, and then people were like, "Yo, this is mad good," and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hold." I was like, "Wait a minute, I can do this for real?"
This
And
me?
yeah, ever since then, ever since Lonely Nights 5 months ago, I've been making music ever since, and I don't plan on slowing down.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. And I hope you don't because I'm a big fan and I'm gonna need some of that, you know. I love that, you know, across like from Lonely Nights, it's very I find it like very like intimate, very somber. Like it's just like a certain type of vibe to it. But then you showed us after that it's not only you can't only just do that, you're very versatile too. Like you gave us like Leave It on the Dance Floor, which I love. And
Uh-huh.
so this is all making me very excited for what's to come. And you mentioned a couple musicians, right? You said
Uh-huh.
Lil Hero, who I love, and the other one you said was Gap Tooth Vamp.
Yes.
Okay, so this leads into my next question. If you could choose, and this is not just limited to, you know, the up and coming girls, it's just like think of anybody, right? If you could choose one person who would be like your dream collab, who would it be and why?
Halela.
Really?
Halela. That she is one of my biggest musical influences. Her, though I can only say one person.
You could do more. Who
Okay.
else?
Okay. Um, Forgive me, Lord, if I'm saying her name wrong, but I do love her music. I discovered her last year. Her name is Kaya, two
Okay.
A's at the end. Solange Knowles. I love her so
Mm-hmm.
much.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I would love to collab with K Tronada. He's one of my
Oh,
favorite producers
I can see
ever.
that. Mm-hmm.
So, and obviously the queen of D&B herself, Pink Panthers, like
Mm-hmm. I
those
love it.
artists, people who I just hold very close to my heart because they're doing exactly what it is that needs to be done for Black people who are not just in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like they're showing the other side of like the more alternative electro, like kind of stuff. People something that mainstream, that the masses don't really gravitate towards too. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you would say like your goal is to remain having that like niche sound where you're like, this is me, this is my pocket, and
Hmm.
I'll just put it out in the world. You don't want to conform, you want to be different. And I
Hmm.
love that about you and your artistry. And I feel like that's what Pink Panthers did too. Like, you know, all of like the music that she's put on, like even the ones on SoundCloud that I would listen to, like when she was like up and coming, like she's very like she put on for like garage type music and she gave us something that we weren't really listening to in the moment, but then she like did her spin on it and she killed it. She killed it. And now we all love that. And so I
Hmm.
love that. I think there's power in authenticity. And that really is like your secret weapon because I don't know. It like when you stick to your signature sound, your signature energy, like the right people will gravitate toward it. And I just feel like the more we conform, the less and I feel like there's some I'm not gonna say there's a lot because I feel like there's a lot of artists who are doing their own thing right now and killing it. But I feel
Hmm.
like in the areas that we've seen conformity and like people trying to like do like copy who's already there, I feel like that's when nobody really like connects with them as much as they could rather than if they kind of like spun it their way. Like I went to the National Women's Studies Association conference in October and Moni was there and she was talking about how she felt like the current rap girls are all trying to like conquer the same sound rather than creating their own sound. And she talked about like her relationship with Queen Latifah and like all the other you know, rap MCs that she would collab with. And she was like, something that we did in our era was like we wanted to have our own sound. We wanted to like, okay, look at the next girl and be like, what you're doing is dope, but I want to be doing something different than that. I want to have like my own type of um flavor basically. And so I want to know your opinion of like, do you feel like there's room for people like you who are, you know, finding your own sound? And
Hmm.
how does that speak to the girls that are like in mainstream media who are, I guess wrapped up in like the competition, and like where do you fall within that? Do you feel like you would ever, have that issue, or do you think that you would be like more so to your own self in your own lane and you would just be doing your own thing? Like compare yourself to like what's happening now and the journey that you see yourself going into as an artist.
So basically, when it comes to this music thing, like I definitely do want to make my own sound. Like I don't want to be that kind of person who competes with other women in the industry because I feel like the way that music, not that it's now, it's always been like this. I feel like men can, be all great at once, whereas with women it's always like, oh, queen at the time,
Yup.
one at a time type of thing. It's like, why
Yup.
can't we just all be doing our own different things at once? And like you said with the rap girls, like they're all trying to like conquer that one sound. It's just like it's not even their fault for real, because it's like that's what they've been told all their lives, as
Exactly.
to be popular, you need to be that girl. You need to be the it girl. Everybody dreams of being the it girl, where these guys just kind of show up and do their own thing, and like that's it. Where I feel like we're kind of just like holding ourselves back by trying to repeat and be the not. Okay, let me try to phrase this correctly. I feel like we're holding ourselves back because I feel like we're all just trying to be like the creme of the creme, when really we just
Yup.
all need to listen to each other and defend each other and have each other's backs, because at the end of the day, that doesn't really get us anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all that time you're wasting trying to worry about somebody else's image, you could be perfecting your own.
Exactly.
Something something that cannot be easily duplicated, something that people will remember, because I feel like everybody is just putting out mediocre songs that they know will probably do commercially well, but you're not making something that's a classic. You're
Mm-hmm.
not making something that's memorable, something that will be, deemed like Hall of Fame quality. You know what I'm saying? You
Mm-hmm.
know, everybody's just following the same recipe when really there's so many recipes and formulas out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, season your own sauce. Girl.
Mm-hmm. 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 I love that. I love
I be
that.
chatting,
You
bro.
spitting. Yup. Oh, oh yeah, I definitely agree for sure. I love the answer that you
Yeah.
gave because it's facts. Like it's just facts for sure. And
Like
so,
me. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
no, you're good. Keep
You,
going. Keep going. You spitting.
I was
Keep
gonna say, with me, like it hurts my brain. Like I of course I'd be listening to other girls' music, and I'd be like, yo, this is fire. Like, and I'll take some inspiration from that. But to completely copy and rip somebody else off and trying
right.
to make make like their thing better is egotistical and crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, take the like listen to the music, appreciate the music, congratulate, and then move on. You know what I'm saying? Because like you're spending all that time obsessing and being jealous over another woman when you could be obsessing over yourself and bettering yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at, because it's like I'd be listening to Pink Panthers and people be like, oh my god, you're giving her, and it's like, no, I'm not trying to give her, I'm trying to give me. She's just somebody that I do respect, and I want to continue the legacy that she got on. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? But
Exactly.
like, but with my own way, because you know what I'm saying, like we're both like artists from the internet. Like she low-key kind of started that, like, you
Mm-hmm.
know what's the word, that drum and bass kind of sound for the girls on TikTok.
Yes.
But
Mm-hmm.
she's not it. There's more to it that people don't even know yet. So,
Mm-hmm. I
like,
love that.
we all need to not worry about being better, but we just need to inspire each other, is what I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
to.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. And so speaking of that, I want to ask you how you would, obviously there's labels, there's genres. I noticed on your SoundCloud, um, your songs interchange between the genre of like R&B and electronic. I wanted to ask you like for define your own genre. Like how would you describe it? What label or labels combined would you give it instead of like the boxes that we've already been given in the music industry?
If I had my own name for my genre, I would call it ambient, like, ambient R&B. You know what I'm
That's
saying? Like
fire.
like fairy celestial type stuff. Like I just like that cubicle, not cubicle, that just futuristic, robotic
Yes, like
sound.
digital.
But like I don't want to talk about just partying though. I
Mm,
want to talk about romance. I want to talk about, heartbreak and mental illness and all that other stuff, but still having that funky, electronic sound, you know what I'm saying? It's
yep.
just it doesn't make sense to other people, but it doesn't matter. It makes sense to me, bro.
Exactly. Exactly. I love that. I love that. And so speaking of like you're doing what makes sense to you, not what makes sense to your listeners. What
Mm-hmm.
is one wish that you do have for your listeners though? Like what do you want them to take away from your music and also take away from you as your following is, getting up there. So what do you want people to take away from who you are and your artistry?
Mm-hmm. What I want people to take away from my artistry is that anything is possible. Like I want people to see me and be like, bro, like this creative stuff that I want to do is not unattainable. Like I
Mm,
also want to instill like, freedom. I want to instill fun because it's like if I were like when I do have shows and stuff, like I want people to come as they are and like feel the music. I want people to be okay with being a weirdo. I want people to be okay with like not being normal because like in my unreleased songs, I still got some songs that I'll be sprinkling out, throughout.
okay.
I got one more song for y'all before this year ends. I got one more song for
I'm
y'all, and
excited for it.
throughout 2024, I just want to, sprinkle on those topics that people are not like kind of afraid to like talk about in their songs because like in the song No Love, like specifically, like I was talking about, dealing with somebody who was looking at other women, and everything. And the things that I'd be seeing on TikTok is like girls being like, oh, I'm that girl, I'm that queen. Like I will act like when people are talking about like their emotional like stuff and like dealing with somebody who did them wrong, people be like, oh, that can never be me and stuff
Right.
like I want people to be comfortable with the fact that shit does go left sometimes. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Not to feel, but I don't want you to feel down about it. Like, yeah, it hurts, but like, let's just dance it off. Like, come on, girl.
Hmm.
Like, let's
Hmm.
leave it all dance. You know what I'm saying?
Yup. Yup.
Like, that's what I want to do with my music. It's just like, girl, like, just let go and let God. Like,
Hmm.
who cares? Just I want to have that carefree kind of vibe. Like, yes, I want you to see yourself. I want people to relate. I want people to like self-reflect. Like I want people to, hear and see themselves with my work, basically. So yeah.
I love that. I love that. That's powerful. Ooh. And I'm looking forward to everything forthcoming that you drop. And so my last question, I could talk to you for a very long time because I feel like there's just so much, right? But I'm gonna make sure that we continue to do follow-ups and
I,
so it won't be the last time that you see me. Um,
mhm,
so in speaking about like how there's pros and cons to the it girl, right? Because there's the girls that get it who know that, being an it girl is just who you make it. And
mhm.
it's not like a competition thing of like, oh, couldn't be me. It's more so like, no, I am me. And I'm not looking at what you're doing because I'm me and I'm putting that energy into me. Um, what how do you like what makes you feel like a it girl? Like what is it for you that encapsulates like who you are, everything that we've talked about today, and just who you are in general? Like what is it for you that makes you stand out and feel like the highest version of yourself?
I feel like I'm the highest version of myself when I don't restrict myself, when I don't hold myself back, when I actually go and do something that I actually wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? That's when I feel like the baddest bitch because it's like I did it all despite of what other people thought. Like that because that never goes away. People are always gonna judge. People are always gonna
Mhm.
talk shit. People are always gonna have to say something about you. But whenever I find myself doing something, whenever I find myself being unapologetically myself in public and around others, that's when I feel the most proud because it's like, bro, like that's something that has always been so hard for me. And so whenever I catch myself just doing it, I just feel so proud.
I
So
love
yeah.
that. I love that. I'm so excited for you. And this was just like, I feel like I needed this because so much of what you said, like, I know like I'm interviewing you, but I always say like I love to make it a conversation because at the end of the day, like I mentioned earlier, we're all connected. And so I love everything that you are, everything that you stand for. And I'm just super excited to, keeping up with your journey. And I just want to say thank you for, making me part of like your Friday evening. And I really hope that you enjoyed this interview for sure. I'm hoping it won't be the last because there'll be more projects that you release that I'll have to interview you about. So yeah.